Yes, I know.
Okay, let's get started.
That's my new state. HSI.
Jamie. Okay. So today at lunch, tomorrow at lunch, you guys can come and get some help. We need to go over this stuff. So we're going through volume, but it's really important. I'm collecting yesterday's homework, Friday's homework tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, Friday's homework I'm collecting tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. It was 4 questions.
Yeah, yes.
6. I just want
Dion?
6. You say add 4.
No. You guys want to go let's. Volume is the amount of space inside an object. The units are cubed because if we have meters times meters times meters, we just finished the unit. What do we do when we multiply like letters? Add the exponents. So we get meters cubed. The general formula for volume is the area of the base times the height. You have to be careful about what is the area of the base. That is what you have to figure out. What shape is the base? Jessica here? You guys okay back there? Alan, you alright? So we have a square prism. For a square, the area of a square is s squared. The formula for volume is the area of the base, or base area, times the height. And so we have side squared, because it's a square, times the height. So we're going to get 4 squared times 6. Volume is 96 centimeters cubed. 4 times 4 times 6. Okay. For a rectangle, then it would be length times width. Now, if I move this square prism onto its side and tipped it over, I'd still say that it's a square base. Okay, it wouldn't necessarily be wrong. Okay. For a square pyramid, then, volume equals 1/3 base area times the height. Volume's 1/3 side length squared times the height of 6. So you'll notice it's 1/3 of 96. So that's 1 times 96 divided by 3, or simply 96 divided by 3 because of the 1 part. So you can go and get your final calculations. 96 divided by 3, 32 centimeters cubed. So what's kind of neat, if you have a cube and a pyramid with the exact same measurements, you can simply divide by 3. And the other direction, if you're going from a pyramid to a cube, you would simply times by 3. That's the neat relationship there. Okay. Okay.
That would have taken 45 minutes.
Okay, first, well, usually it takes me, this is a good 45-minute lesson. Okay, whatever. Volume equals base area times the height. The base, what is it sitting on? A circle. But you got to be careful, because what if I tipped it sideways? What would the base be? Still a circle. The base won't change. The reason why is it's a circle all the way throughout the object. So it's a circular base. Now I say r squared. What is r? For this, the number, sorry? 35. Okay, so you're right, it's the radius. We'll always give you diameter, folks, just to make sure you're paying attention. So wakey, wakey. So pi times 35 squared times the height of the cylinder, which is 83. So just like last year, we don't really want decimals if we can avoid them. So here we're going to go 35 squared, which is 35 times 35, times 83. We get 101,675 times pi. And that's going to be millimeters cubed. So then let's look at the formula for a cone. Volume is 1/3 base area times the height. But I don't have the height, do I? No. I got the slant height. Oh my goodness, what am I going to have to do? Yep, Harla? No? On your calculator, go 35 times 35 times 83. First of all, is your number bigger or smaller than 101? No, I don't want the decimal, right? I left this as a multiplication, right? So this is actually a multiplication still. Not unless, if it was short answer, yes. Multiple choice, most likely they're going to leave it like that. Okay? Now for this other one, I get a whole bunch of crazy decimals, so I actually do. Okay? I'll show you that later though. I know that can be confusing. Okay, so for this one, slant height squared, I should put SH, slant height squared is going to be 90 squared minus 35 squared. Oh, I'm totally screwing that up, aren't I? Is that right? No. I already know the slant height. Mr. Barker, shame, shame. It's 90. It's on the slant. I'm finding the height, because that's what I need. So, the height, 90 squared minus 35 squared. Okay, so that's going to be 90 times 90 minus 35 squared equals 6875. So h equals square root 6875. Okay. So volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times root 6875. Volume is 1/3 pi times 35 squared times root 6875. Okay. So now, if I square root this 6875, get a decimal. So what we're going to do now is go to our decimal.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Good. So times this by 35 squared, times it by pi, times it by 1/3, which is just like dividing by 3, and you get 106,365.66. Okay. Now this relationship still exists with the cone and the cylinder. If I take the cylinder and divide by 3, I'll get the cone volume. Or if I times it by 3, I can go from the cone to the cylinder. Okay, for the sphere, the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So volume equals 4/3 times pi times 6 cubed. Volume equals 4/3 pi, and I think it's like 216. 6 times 6 times 6. 216. And so what we can do is go 4 times 216 divided by 3. And we get 288. So the volume equals 288 times pi centimeters cubed. Okay. If I want the decimal, then you multiply. If you don't want the decimal, you keep it as this is your answer. Okay, so I multiplied all the numbers together around pi. Okay. For a hemisphere, this one is not like surface area. Exactly. You just find the volume of the sphere and divide it by 2. So we can go 288 pi divided by 2 equals 144 pi. Because they have the exact same measurements, I'm able to do that. Okay, whereas with surface area, also you have another circle you got to include, but not for volume. So volume's a little easier that way. Okay. Triangular prism.
What's the relationship?
Our relationship is divided by 2 times by 2. Triangular prism, base area times the height. And here, since the triangle is the base, that's why we call it triangular prism. It's a triangle all throughout from top to bottom. I would like to write my height for the prism as a capital H. Okay, so if you notice, I have two H's. It's important to know the difference between them. So I use lowercase for the triangle, big H for the whole prism. So base times height would be 5 times 7, it doesn't matter the order, times the height of 10 for the whole prism. So 5 times 7 divided by 2 equals that, times 10 equals 175 centimeters cubed. Okay, so for the triangle, watch out. Remember, it's a triangular prism, so it's going to be a triangular area. All right. Next 2, 3. Working backwards. So this is the good stuff with the algebra. There's the volume. There's the height. What's the area of the base? Volume equals base area times the height. Substitute in the numbers you know. 108 is V. 9 is the height. And I screw up the formula because I forgot the 1/3. It's a pyramid. Just add in 1/3. Okay. So there's a few different ways to attack this. The easiest way is to figure out, multiply 1/3 of 9. What's 1/3 times 9? Yeah, they cancel. 1 times 9 divided by 3 equals 9 over 3 equals 3. So 3 times base area. So if you can do a little bit of head stuff, it makes it easier. Because now it's real simple. How do you find the base area by itself? Divide by 3. So 108 divided by 3 equals 36. Okay. So we have to be careful here because it's base area. We can say the area of the base equals 36 centimeters squared. 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 Right? 36 centimeters squared. Because we're finding the base area, we only divide it by centimeters. So it goes from exponent 3 to exponent 2. Okay? Cone, this one's pretty intense because we have to find the height. So we have to find the height and then we can find the slant height. So volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. The diameter is 12, so the radius is 6. So we substitute in 150.8 equals 1/3 pi times 6 squared times h. So 150.8 equals 1/3 pi times 36 times h. I don't need brackets around the h, I'll remove those. So what's 1/3 of 36? Good. So what that is 36 divided by 3. So we get 12 pi. Now we want h by itself. So what do we have to do to get h by itself? Exactly. Divide by 12 pi both sides. We're showing a bit more work here. 150.8 divided by 12 pi equals h. Good. go to your calculator and make sure you can do this. This is really important. You can do it on your calculator. It's 150.8 divided by 12 divided by pi, or divided by bracket 12 times pi bracket. Okay, you got to use the brackets if you're going to press that multiplication button, although your calculator does something completely different. Okay, so we should get 150.8 divided by 12 divided by pi, 4.000. What do you think we should use for height then? 4, right? I mean, look at all those zeros. So that's showing you, yeah, you should just use 4. Okay. But we're not done here. Height is 4. The radius is 6. What's the slant height? No, it's just Pythagoras. Okay, so quickly do Pythagoras. Slant height squared equals 4 squared plus 6 squared. Slant height squared equals 16 plus 36. Slant height squared equals 52. So slant height equals, I don't know, I keep writing, slant height equals square root 52. And of course you could go then and simplify it. For sake of time, we won't. Okay, but you might want to write a note, simplify that, because that would be a good way to test you, that you know a whole bunch of things. This next one's quicker and easier, okay? I think. Alright, cylinder, height's 3, volume's that, what's the diameter? So we got to find the radius first. Volume equals pi base area times height. Pi r squared times height. So we substitute in the numbers you know. You don't know what r squared is, but you do know the height is 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the 3 and the pi together. Multiply them together as 3 times pi. Don't change them though. Now hopefully you can see how to get r squared by itself. I'll let you guys pause, catch up, and I want you to write the next step, please. What does r squared equal? Okay. Don't you touch your calculator yet. So what you should have wrote down, 150.8 divided by 3 pi. So you move the whole thing to the other side. Then to get r by itself, you go 150.8 divided by 3 pi and then press square root. Now be careful, you want to make sure you get the square root of an answer. So what I would do is I would go 150.8 divided by 3 divided by pi and then square root the use your A and S button. Or if you have an old school calculator, just press equals and then square root. Okay. Everyone should try that on the calculator to make sure they're doing it properly. Is it the shift on the equal sign? Divided by 3, divided by pi. I got 16.00, so that's easy to take the square root of 4. R equals 4. Good. Why is that not your final answer, though? That's right. So then the diameter equals 8. And that's going to be in what units? Centimeters. Okay. Most of your, yeah. That was a real quick version. Again, you can watch it 2, 3, 4 minutes.